welcome to Lauren Reed Color. Thanks so much for joining me for this week's episode of Saturday Snippets. It is a really windy morning here, so if you can hear some whistling in the background, that's what it is. Anyway, so if you were with us last week, you know that we have begun working in Daydreams by Hannah Karlzon. And the page that we started is this Sealife page. We put down a layer of Neocolor 2s, we activated it, and then we have waited the entire week for it to dry. It does not take a week to dry. It takes about half an hour, but I like to let it really dry very well before putting pencils down. Anyway, I'm very pleased to announce also that I didn't need to iron it because it dried pretty flat. And I think that is thanks to the fact that I have colored the page on the opposite side, and the wax of the pencil on this page helped to keep the page that we did last week flat. So as I said, no need to iron. Today we are going to be continuing to work on this page. We're going to start with the seaweed on the bottom, and for that I have some pencils out. Let me just show you also the color palettes that I have chosen for this project. So we have two cards from Severin A. Clark's Color Cubes. We have 465 and 287. So some of the colors on these two cards are the same or very, very similar. And I also swatched out these cards in Prismacolor pencil. So I will take a photo of this page and I will put it in the community posts. I will send it all to you so that you will have it. It could be that as we go through the page we might add a few colors, and there might even be colors on this list that we don't use, but for now this is the swatch for the two cards that I have chosen. So we're going to be using these colors today. I have also added a Faber-Castell dark indigo. It's the Polychromos dark indigo, because I feel that the Polychromos indigo is better than the Prismacolor indigo. So if you don't have Polychromos, you can still use the Prismacolor. So anyway, we're going to be using, as you can see, we're going to be using light aqua, aquamarine, cobalt turquoise, and dark indigo. We're also going to be using the white and any kind of acrylic paint marker that you have. So I will probably be using the Thule Art pastel blue. It's in the pastel set of Thule Art, and a Langual gel pen in some sort of sparkly turquoise color. Again, it doesn't really matter which you use, it's just for embellishments on the top if we feel that we need some. Okay, so before we get started with this page today, I'm going to show you what I worked on this week. In addition to working on some whips this week, I also completed two pages. The first one is this Brave Bunnies Care Crew by R.J. Hampson. I am the one who's called it the Brave Bunny. I don't know if R.J. Hampson actually gave it a title, but I always like to give titles to my coloring pages. Anyway, I digress. So I started coloring this page on my live stream for Piggy's Tubathon 2026, and the proceeds for that Tubathon and all of the events that have been going on in the coloring community are going to the World Cancer Research Fund. There's still time to purchase this page from Russell's website and to contribute in any way you can. Anyway, so I went for a stuffed animal look for this page, and that was due to the fact that I started out coloring this little bunny pink because I was inspired by the Energizer Bunny, and after that it just seemed quite logical for all of the animals to look like stuffed animals. So that's the look that I went for. I based with alcohol marker, and then I shaded on top with Polychromos pencil, except for the background. The background is watercolor pencil and then shaded with Polychromos here on the bottom. And here on the top, it's watercolor pencil activated and then watercolor pencil not activated on top. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the end result. I think it's such a cute page and a very worthy cause. So that was the first page that I completed this week. The other page that I completed this week is in Mythographic Aviary by Joseph Katzenbang, and the page that I did was this Flamingo page. This was a buddy color with the absolutely fabulous Jo from Geordie Colors, and if you're interested in seeing her version, you can pop on over to either her Instagram or my Instagram and take a peek. We went in similar yet different directions. Anyway, there's just something that I want to say about this page before I talk about what I did to it, and that is that I absolutely love Joseph Katzenbang's artwork. It is amazing. For example, just take a look at this page that is after this one. This swan is magnificent, spectacular. It was very difficult for me to wrap my head around the fact that the same artist drew this page. The page's composition is just so strange. This flamingo, whose body is completely concealed by these flowers, random leaves, random flowers. It was a really, really difficult page to color. Jo and I struggled so much with it. But in the end, I think it came out pretty well. I'm pleased with the result, as pleased as I can be with the page that I didn't really like the composition of. Anyway, so what did I do to it? I based with alcohol marker. I started out with a really bright pink alcohol marker. I didn't think it was that pink when I chose it, but as you can see on the other side, it is really quite neon. Thankfully, after I put down the pencils, it started to become a bit more muted. And I also think that the yellow flowers, the orange flowers, the green leaves mute the pink a little bit more as well. Yeah, so based with alcohol marker, and then I shaded with Castle Arts pencils. And then I needed to decide what I wanted to do with the background. And I decided that because this flamingo's wings are spread, I wanted to get the impression of him flapping his wings. So I created this background with watercolor pencils, and then I used a baby wipe to smudge so that I could get the impression of movement. Yeah, so that's what I did with this page, and overall I'm pleased with it, but it was not one of my favorite pages to color. Yeah, so that's Mythographic Aviary by Joseph Katzenbang. The first whip that I worked on this week is in Mythographic Dragonspell by Joseph Katzenbang, and the page that I'm working on is this Dragon Knight page. This is the page that was chosen for February in the Dragonspell Instagram group, so you are getting a sneak peek. Anyway, so this page is based with alcohol marker, and I am shading with Derwent Lightfast and Keren Ash Luminance. I'm alternating between different sections of the page because I don't want to get burnt out on this armor, coloring the same element over and over. Also, this is a palette that I created using the Dopely website and Adobe Color. So let me just explain what happened. I have been using the Dopely website to create palettes, to get different tints and tones and shades for the palettes that I use. Recently, I discovered that they are starting a subscription service. So in order to use quite a few of the elements on the website, you have to pay. And so I've decided that I'm going to be trying to find alternatives. One alternative that I have found is Adobe Color. It has a lot of the functionality of Dopely. I have to play with it a bit more and see exactly what it can do. But I started using it for this palette, and I will make a video explaining how to use it and the different functions it has, and even how to use it together with Dopely to get pencils for different palettes. Okay, so yeah, this was the page that I did in Mythographic Dragonspell. Another page that I worked on this week is in Mythomorphia by Kirby Rosannes, and it is also a page that I'm doing for the Mythomorphia Instagram group, and it is this Kitsune page. So right now, all I've done is I have based the background with Inktense pencil, and I've started basing the foliage also with Inktense. And then I'm going to move on to the larger elements on the page for basing. I think I'm going to be using Neocolor 2s for the tail and the fox and the trees. And then I will go over with pencil. I'm not yet sure which pencils I'm going to use. I'm leaning towards Polychromos. We'll see once all the basing is down, but I really love the way this page is coming out. I like the glow that I'm going to get around these light sources. So yeah, a beautiful page, and I'm eager to continue working on it. Yeah, so that's Mythomorphia. The last book that I worked on this week is By the Sea by George Tufexis. As you can see, it's a color by number book, and the page that I'm working on is the first page in the book, which I am calling Little Lizard's Adventures. So I color in this book when I don't want to worry about choosing colors or pencils, because it's color by number and the colors are chosen for me. And I've been watching the figure skating, and I needed something to color while I was doing that. And I didn't want to color in my other books because they require a lot more attention, and so I colored in this one, and I'm making progress slowly but surely. So there is a video up on the channel on my different techniques for coloring color by number books if you are interested. And yeah, so those are all the pages that I worked on this week, and now we're going to start working on our Sealife page. Okay, so we are now moving on to our main feature for today, which is the page in Daydreams by Hannah Karlzon. I just want to warn you that I might have to take pauses with this video to allow the wind to stop howling, because the wind that we had earlier has now developed into a major downpour. So winter has definitely not left us yet. And again, every once in a while, I might need to pause if the wind starts to, shriek. Anyway, the pencils that we are working with are Prismacolor. As I said, we've got light aqua, we've got aquamarine, we've got cobalt turquoise, white, and the Faber-Castell dark indigo. Again, if you don't have Faber-Castell Polychromos dark indigo, you can use the I think it's called Deep Indigo or Dark Indigo by Prismacolor. You'll get a similar result. It won't make that much of a difference. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get going. Yeah, I can hear the rain pouring down. Let me just get a page for my hand. We are going to start with these seaweeds at the bottom, as I said. So I'm just going to zoom in. Right, we are zoomed in, and I'm starting with the light aqua. And I'm just going to put this color down on top of all of these seaweeds. Okay. Yeah, don't worry about shading right now. Just fill in all of this area with the seaweed. We will put in the shading afterwards. Yeah, so good morning, everyone, after that quite long intro. I hope that you are enjoying the weekend and that it is not as rainy where you are as it is where I am. So it's been an interesting week. I'm slowly catching up on watching videos by other YouTubers because I've been quite busy watching the figure skating and some other Olympic events. So I didn't have as much time to watch YouTube, but I am getting back into that. So yeah, I love the figure skating. I have watched figure skating ever since I was quite young with my mother and my father. We used to sit around together watching figure skating. Moving on to aquamarine. Okay, now we're going to start doing some shading. So I'm putting this color at the bottom and then just a little bit into the top, but leaving a highlight. Yeah, so I've been watching the figure skating and it's been fun. I watched the team competition. And I watched the ice dance. Ice dance has always been my favorite. I think that they're just fabulous. They can't have the spectacular jumps. So it's all down to the artistry of the movements and the interpretation of the music. There are elements that they have to include, and some of them are quite beautiful and even spectacular at times. So I really love the ice dance, and I was impressed in the women's by some of the interpretations of the music and the way it was reflected in their costumes. So for example, I can't remember who the skater was. There was a skater, it'll come to me, who... her music was, I think it was Unchained Melody, the music from the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. And the back of her dress had two faces on it. It was gorgeous, and she interpreted that music so beautifully. And then there was another skater, I think it was Lara Gutman. She skated to the music from Jaws, which I thought was inspired. I mean, who thinks, it's figure skating? I will just, skate to music from Jaws with sharks. And her dress had this slash down the front, which was cool. So, yeah, I really thought that they interpreted that well. And I think it was it the Ice Dance? It was the Ice Dance, the couple from Great Britain. They skated to a series of Scottish ballads, and their outfit was played. It was also really cool. I loved them. They were amazing. So I've been enjoying that, and I understand now that there's a bit of a scandal going on with the judging in the Ice Dance because the French won instead of the Americans. Okay, hold on. Now I'm going in with my next darkest color, which is cobalt turquoise, and only in the deepest shadows. So I remember many, many moons ago, in the early 2000s, there was a skating scandal. I can't remember. I think it was one of the Olympics. I can't remember. But the scandal was that the Russian couple beat the Canadian couple in the ice dance, even though the Canadians were so obviously better. And there was an investigation, and it turned out, oops, this pencil has broken. I'm going to have to sharpen it. Hold on one second. Okay, so it's sharpened again. I hope it doesn't break. This is one of my problems with Prismacolors, is that they tend to break much more than other pencils. It's because they're so soft and waxy. Anyway, where was I? Yes, the judging controversy. So I understand that there's a bit of a controversy over the scoring because the French judge has given more points to the French couple as compared to any of the other judges, and underscored the Americans. So anyway, that is being investigated now, I think, and we will see what happens. But as I was saying, quite a few years ago, in the 2000s, there was also a skating controversy over the judging, a judging controversy over the skating. It turned out it was the French. I'm wondering if there's not an issue there. Anyway, the French judge and the Russian judge colluded. They agreed to help each other out. So in order for the French to win the ice dance over the Canadians, the Russian judge scored them highest. And then the French cooperated by allowing the Russian couple to win in the pairs. So yeah, there was a controversy and an investigation, and the ISU, the International Skating Union, they changed the scoring system. So before it was like out of 10. So it was similar to the gymnastics at the time. They used to score out of 10, and then they used to drop the highest and lowest score. But now the scoring is much more complicated. There are points for technical difficulty, there's scores for execution, and all of that kind of stuff. And it's much more complicated, and I think it's a little bit more difficult to fix in a way. It's also a little bit more difficult to understand what's going on for the viewers. Okay, now I am going to take the white, okay, and I'm just going to blend out the tops of each of these. I might put some yellow in here. We'll see. To give back my highlight. And yeah, so the idea of the new scoring system was to make it more transparent, the scoring to prevent, manipulations and things like that, to prevent biases. But, there's always going to be someone who's upset at losing. But this time it does seem to be that there's something not quite right about the scoring. I must say, I watched both performances, and the French did make mistakes in their performance and I think this is why everyone's a little bit, finding it strange that the French couple has won when there were obvious mistakes in their routine. And the French judges' score does seem to be quite significantly higher than all the other judges. Anyway, they'll, as I said, they'll investigate and we'll find out what happens. I understand that there's sports are there's always controversies in sports. I know in the gymnastics, there's still an ongoing court case, I think, or arbitration for the bronze medal in the gymnastics from the Olympics in the women's individual event overall. Something about there, it's something of a technicality, something about the American team didn't appeal in a timely fashion, but they say they did. So they're still investigating that. That's in the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Oh, and I think we've got some hail. I'm going to pause. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about the storming. I'm also going to put some of this cobalt turquoise in these deeper shadows here. Okay, and then I'm going to blend it out with the indigo. Wait, I just want to make these areas in between these elements need to be much darker. So I'm just putting in this color so that we can get our highlights to pop and our shadows to be deep. Yeah, so lots of scandals there. And I haven't yet watched the men's. I've been watching it, the replays, because it goes on too late into the night, and I'm not as young as I used to be, and I can't, stay up that late. So I've been watching replays, and I haven't yet watched the men's replay, but I do know the result. You can't, escape it, and it's a bit of a shocker. I understand that, there was a bit of an upset in the men's as well. So I'm going to go and watch that after I finished coloring with you guys. Coloring trumps figure skating. And so I'm enjoying that. I also started to watch other sports. So, the Winter Olympics are dangerous. There've been so many accidents. I saw Lindsey Vonn. Thank God she's okay. That's all I have to say. That fall that she took was quite something. And I'm really glad that she didn't hurt herself more badly. I mean, she's badly hurt. I mean, she's had to have surgery on her leg, but at least, she didn't die. The winter sports are really dangerous. I saw that, I don't know if it was this Olympics or another Olympics, but there was an article about a speed skater whose neck was cut by the blade of they fell, and the blade of one of the other skaters cut the artery or the jugular vein, I can't remember exactly what it was, of the other skater, and they were bleeding, and that was life-threatening. And then, of course, there's the skeleton, which is just someone straps themselves to some sort of sled and just throws themselves down a mountain. It's so scary. Such scary sports. Anyway, so I was watching the biathlon. I was going to watch something that was not nearly as death-defying. Okay, so yeah, I like that. Let's, I don't know, it looks better in person than it does on camera. I think it's got to do with the lighting. All right, now let's move on and do some of these ones on the bottom. All right, so I'm going back in with my light aqua. Yeah, so I might put a different color in there as well. We'll see at the end. So again with the light aqua, I'm just putting this on the bottom.
Yeah, so I was watching the biathlon, and then I needed it to be explained to me because I didn't understand what was going on. So it's called the sprint event, and they were in the biathlon. They have to ski and they have to shoot. So they're in an arena and they have to ski, and there's, I think, 30 seconds between each competitor, and it's a timed event. So there's no race. It's more like they're competing against the clock, and the lowest time wins. And if in the shooting, if they miss the target, then they have to do penalty laps. So if they miss 2 targets, they have to do 2 penalty laps. If they miss 1 target, they have to do 1 penalty lap, and so on. And so this adds to their time. And the person who wins is the person who has the shortest time. So, yeah, I understood that. That was okay. But what I didn't understand was where exactly they do the skiing, because you don't always see where they've gone. And I was expecting it to be like out in the open, like the other skiing events where they have a course through certain terrain and stuff like that. And then they would have to stop every once in a while to shoot. But it's all done in an arena. And to be perfectly honest, I thought it was a bit boring. I wanted to see trees and scenery and mountains and things like that. So I stopped watching that. My attention span was not, good enough to continue watching that. And I do like watching the curling. The curling is fun. It's funny. It's entertaining. All right, so let's just do this one here. We're doing it in sections. Okay, now we're going on to our next color, which is aquamarine. So that's the Winter Olympics that I've been watching. Another thing that I've been seeing is that some people are complaining about the coverage. So, for example, I get all this information from Threads, by the way. So, because I watched and liked, Threads algorithm is strange. You like one thing, and the next thing you know, your feed is inundated by everything to do with this one thing. So I liked one figure skating post, and the next thing you know, I've got figure skating nonstop on my feed. Or I liked one skating post, and the next thing, skiing post, and the next thing I'm inundated with the skiing, and then of course I'm getting all the Olympics. So in Threads, some of the people who watch the BBC are complaining about the BBC's coverage of the events at the Olympics. It's got to do with purchasing the rights. I understand that Discovery purchased the rights to broadcast the Olympics in its entirety, and other broadcasters, their rights are limited to other things. So the BBC can't show all the sports. They're showing certain events in their entirety, other events partially, and the viewers are really getting a little bit upset about this because, say, they're watching the figure skating, and all of a sudden it cuts to something else and they don't see the rest of the figure skating, and so on. And people who have Peacock through NBC are experiencing issues of their own, events not being broadcast and stuff like that. As I said in my last Saturday Snippets, I decided to get HBO Max to watch the Olympics, and I understand that HBO Max belongs to Discovery. And so I am thankfully able to watch everything. Okay, now we're going to go in with this one. This is the one that broke, so I'm going to go really carefully, not press too hard. Yeah, that's a problem with Prismas. They break. They break if you look at them funny. Some of them break more than others. I think it's the electric blue. It's a terrible pencil. It just breaks every time I use it, and I have to, sharpen it to get the point, and then half the pencil gets eaten away. So that was also something that I saw with the Olympics. Trying to think, what else have I seen with the Olympics that was interesting? I don't know. I think that's it. If something comes to me, I'll come back to it. Just a reminder to everyone, if you didn't know already from what you've been listening to, these videos are chatty videos. I chat about everything that catches my eye. Yeah, so another thing that happened this week. So yesterday, I was walking Toby outside in the evening about 6:30. And it's already dark at 6:30. And we were walking along and he was very busy sniffing every leaf, finding the one that's most deserving. And all of a sudden I look up. I don't know what made me look up, but I looked up and I saw a jackal. Now, I live in the mountains and we have quite a lot of wildlife in my neighborhood. So we have rock rabbits, we have hedgehogs, we have the occasional fox, and of course we also have a lot of cats in our neighborhood. The cats were brought in many years ago, way before I was born, because there were rat problems. So they brought in the cats to deal with the rats, and the cats in Israel are monitored. So they're not feral cats. They are street cats, but every municipality has a budget to feed them, to look after them, like to take them to the vet if they're sick, to vaccinate them against rabies. And they're also, the population is controlled. So they're neutered or spayed. Some of them are allowed to have kittens, and then after that they're taken away and spayed. Some of them are spayed immediately, that they're allowed to spay them. So the populations are controlled, and they like I see in my neighborhood, suddenly we'll have an influx of black cats. Then in a couple of months later, there's some kittens. They're taken away, they're sent to other neighborhoods, and we get an influx, say, of tortoiseshell cats. Right now we've got quite a few white ones mixed in with some ginger ones. And yeah, so as I say, they really, so we got quite a lot of cats, and they keep down the rats and the scorpions and the snakes, so we're quite happy to have them, but they are so overfed. I saw one the other day trying to catch a bird, and he was not at all successful because he was so overweight. Silly cat. Now we're going to go in with the indigo to shade some of these, to deepen up shadows at the bottoms of these seaweeds. Yeah, so I saw a jackal and I was, yikes. It's the first time I've ever seen one, and I've lived in this neighborhood my entire life, so 40 years or so, and I've never seen a jackal. This was the first time. So Toby and I very surreptitiously turned and went in the other direction. I mean, it wasn't doing anything. It was just standing there looking at us. But I didn't want to take any chances of it charging or anything. It didn't. And we just walked away, and it went off on its merry way in the opposite direction. We got quite a lot of interesting wildlife, not necessarily where I live, but in Haifa, which is the closest big city to where I live. They have wild boar, and wild boar can be very, very aggressive. And so, they get into the trash. People are told to keep the trash cans closed because the wild boar gets into the trash. And all these animals are protected. Like, we have quite strong animal protection laws. So they can't. And for example, for the cats, they have an interesting law. Okay, 1 second before I tell you about the interesting law. I missed that one. I missed a couple here. Let's do these. Sometimes you can only see what you've missed if you take a look, if you take it like a step back from the page and look at it from a distance, and then you can see if you've missed anything. Okay, light aqua, just blending that out. Yeah, so they have, one of the laws that we have regarding the cats is that only the municipality can decide where the cats go. And if there's a cat that has been in a certain location for a while, it can't be moved. It's got to stay there because, you know, cats, you know what they say, cats know places and dogs know faces. So the cats become attached to a certain location, and once they reach a certain age, they can't be moved from that location. And that's what the law says. So my mom, when she was alive, she worked at a company in Haifa that had a cat. His name was Gurnisht, which is Yiddish for, I forget. It'll come to me. I'll put it on the screen after I translate it. Anyway, his name was Gurnisht, this cat, and he was kind of mangy, but he'd been at their facility for donkey's years. He was an old cat. Okay, let me move over a little bit. Anyway, the man who was, you know, not the CEO, but the managing director of the facility, he wanted this cat gone. He didn't like this cat. So he put in a petition to the municipality to have the cat taken somewhere else, relocated. And the municipality sent him a very strongly worded letter that this is against the law. He was not at all pleased. It didn't help that all the employees loved the cat and were very unhappy about the idea of the cat being relocated. My mother was leading the charge. She was a cat person. Yeah, in my family we have, I mean, I love cats, but I'm a dog person, as you can tell from Toby. My mom and my brother were cat people, and my dad and I, dog people. So I've had lots of cats and dogs in my many years of pet ownership. Anyway, so my mom was leading the charge against relocating Gurnisht. Yeah, that did not endear her to the manager of the facility. But too bad, so sad. Anyway, yeah, cats here they're really spoiled. Yeah, so that was my experience with the jackal last night. It was kind of scary. I mean, it was not doing anything, but it is a wild animal, and my main fear is rabies. So, as I said, we hightailed it out of there, me and Toby. What else did I do this week? So I am slowly but surely getting out of my reading slump. I finished a book. I think I've finished 2 books so far this month, which is an improvement because I was struggling with the reading, which is unlike me because I love to read. Yeah, so I finished reading. I decided to get over my reading slump. I had to go back and read favorite authors. So I was reading Sandra Brown. I read, okay, I think now we need to go in with our cobalt turquoise and shade the bottom of these. I'm finding coloring these little seaweeds very relaxing. I'm sorry if this is boring. I'm just coloring the same thing. I hope I'm keeping you entertained with my chatting. Anyway, where was I? What? Oh, yes, I need to tell you about Keren's butterfly. Okay, I will show you Keren's butterfly. That was a voice from the back there telling me that I need to show you something. Okay. So I might have said it before in the channel, but my roommate or my assistant, Keren, she does embroidery.
With the Doom voice, the assistant.
She's the assistant. So the assistant
embroiders and she sews and she does cross stitch. Okay, now you can see the whole frame as well. So yeah, this is Keren's latest project, which she completed. It's on gauze. Look at that.
It's not gauze, that's organza.
Be quiet. What she said.
It wouldn't be a complete day if I wasn't picking on you.
I am a colorist.
My roommate duties, my contractual obligation.
Okay, so yes, sorry, my apologies. It's organza. And so this is what she worked on. She also has a YouTube channel where she showcases what she's doing. It is called Tangent and Thread. She also chats about all sorts of things. And I think Toby needs to settle down again. Yeah, so this is what she did. And yeah, if you're interested in those kinds of hobbies as well, embroidery, sewing, cross stitch, I will leave a link to her channel in the description box and you can go and check her out. Okay, we are back with our seaweeds. And cobalt turquoise. And I'm just putting in some shadows here. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about the books that I was reading. So yeah, so I've gone back to reading Sandra Brown, and I read, it's called Hello Darkness. Anyway, so I've read quite a few Sandra Browns in my lifetime, but I couldn't remember reading this one. Yeah, so I picked it up from the library, from Libby, and I started reading, and I'm like halfway through the second chapter, and a character is introduced, and I say to myself, I've read this book before. I even know who the killer is. Nevertheless, I didn't remember the exact plot and all of the different details, so I continued reading, and I enjoyed it quite a lot, even though I was right about who the killer was. Every once in a while I was reading, I had a sense of deja vu. Oh, I remember reading this before. Okay, let's go in now with the white to put in our highlight. Yeah, so that was fun. I enjoyed that. And yesterday, I was catching up on watching YouTube videos, and I was watching Erica from Elm Colors, her weekend whip video, which is similar style to the Saturday Snippets. And she was talking about the books that she was reading, and she told us that she was reading the new release by Alona Andrews in the Hidden Legacy series. I love that series. I'm so excited that there's another one, and I will definitely be reading it. Now, I see that it is, right now there's no audiobook for it. I like to listen to Alona Andrews audiobooks because she writes in the first person. And I have a first-person pet peeve. I find it difficult to read in the first person, so I prefer audiobooks. So I'm going to wait until it comes out on audio. I hope it does. It might not be in the first person. I will go and check. Sometimes their novellas are not in the first person. So I will check it out and see. If it's not in the first person, I will read it. If it is in the first person, I will wait for the audiobook. I hope there will be an audiobook. Okay, let's move on to our seaweeds on this side. I'm just doing the ones on the bottom, and then we'll move on to the ones that are higher up. Yeah, so now I've started a new book. This one is by Brenda Novak, who is also an author I've read before and enjoyed. So it's called Her Darkest Nightmare. It's the first book in a series. The name of the series is Dr. Eve Talbot. And it's set in Alaska. I love books set in Alaska. Maybe because I live in a country with a really hot climate, I like reading about settings that are in cold climates. So I love reading about Canada and Alaska and Siberia. Maybe it's my way of cooling down in my hot climate. Yeah, so this one is set in Alaska, and it's got serial killers. Of course, I love serial killers. I'm fascinated by them. Real ones in books. There was that fabulous show, Mind Hunters, which was based on the book by the FBI agent who started the behavioral sciences unit of the FBI. So I loved that show. I loved Criminal Minds, excellent show. I stopped watching Criminal Minds towards the end. I don't know, it just started becoming a bit repetitive. And they were doing things to characters that I didn't like. So I kind of stopped watching that. I don't even know. Is it still on? Oh, a voice from the back. Yes, indeed. Criminal Minds is still on. Maybe I'll go back and watch again from the beginning and try and get back into it. I've got so many things I want to rewatch. I want to rewatch The X-Files. That's my favorite show of all times. Yeah, so I'm reading this book. It's pretty good. So far, I'm on chapter 5, I think. I do like Brenda Novak, but she has a tendency in her writing to tell rather than show. So instead of showing something happening, like describing the situation and the events that occur, she tends to tell us about the events instead. Like in flashback or even, just in real time, but in telling us what's happening rather than showing the events. And that can be a bit problematic. She's not too bad. I've read worse. Okay, now let's go back in with our light aqua and do this section over here. Yeah, so that's what I've been reading. And I had to renew my library card. It's so easy. So I have a library card with the Orange County Public Library. So they allow patrons from overseas to have library cards. We have to pay for it. That's perfectly fine. I'm quite happy. It's still less expensive than having an Audible, because I mainly have it because of the audiobooks. Audible is so expensive. And, the idea of purchasing an audiobook and listening to it once and then never listening to it again and spending quite a lot of money just doesn't appeal to me. So I have a library card that I pay for, and I can get audiobooks, and it is definitely much more cost effective than Audible. Every once in a while, I will buy a book from Audible because it's not available at the library and I really want to listen to it. So yeah, but that doesn't happen very often. Anyway, so I renewed my library card, and it's such a simple process. You go onto the library website, and because I'm an overseas patron, they have an automatic renewal system if you are a resident. But if you are an overseas patron, the automatic renewal system doesn't work. You have to chat with someone. And they have such a helpful chat system. So every year I initiate the chat and I talk to a lovely person who's only too happy to renew my library card. And you pay through like the fee system of the library. So it was really quick, really painless procedure. And now I am renewed for another year. And they have an excellent selection, that library. I also have a library card from my town. And sometimes the books that I read are from them because they also have a nice selection. Not as nice as the OCLS library, but pretty good. So every once in a while, I read the book from my local library. Also on Libby. They're also on Libby. Yeah, so I did that yesterday. This coming week is going to be really busy. My students are having tests again. So I had a bit of a break from the tests and the marking. But this coming week, there are exams again, and I'll be marking again. I don't know if I'm going to have as much time to color or to record because of the marking, but I will definitely try and do that video showing how to use Adobe Color with color palettes. I will put that down in my YouTube planner to try and record that video this week. What else? So as I said, I'm on Threads, and I follow certain accounts. One of them is Camp Carter with the puppies. Oh, they're getting so big. They are, I want to say 5 weeks old now, and they have graduated from the baby box to the puppy pen. So they've got more room to move around and to interact with each other. And Carter, the lady who fosters the puppies, is slowly weaning them off their mother's milk, which gives the mommy also time for herself and to do things she wants to do. It's like humans. Anyway, so they are now in the puppy pen. They graduated from the baby box. Now they're in the puppy pen, and their eyes are open and their ears are open. And some of the puppies have blue eyes, and they're now at an age where this is going to be their eye color. The eyes, like human babies, dogs, puppies, also have blue eyes when they're born. Toby had blue eyes. But as they get a bit older, they usually turn brown or yellow. Toby's are brown. So, but some of these puppies, they have blue eyes, and there are a couple that have one blue and one brown. This condition is called heterochromium. Thank you. Heterochromium. And it happens in humans too. That you have one eye that's blue, one that's brown, or one eye that's blue and then another color, like one blue and one green, one blue and one brown, one green and one brown, and so on. So, they're gorgeous. They are just the most gorgeous puppies. All of them, the ones with the brown eyes, the ones with the blue, but they're huge. They're pit bulls. And this is what she usually fosters. She usually fosters pit bulls. Her previous litter were some kind of terrier, and they were tiny. But these ones, but even for pit bulls, these ones are big. They've got huge paws, huge. I will show you a picture. I will put a picture up so you can see them. They're gorgeous. Highly recommend following. If you're on Threads, I highly recommend watching her, following her feed, because they are just so fun to watch grow and change and develop. Okay, let's zoom out and see what this looks like now that I have done all of these seaweeds. Okay, so this is what it's looking like right now. I think what I need to do next is I need to go in over here and shade in between the seaweeds like I did over here. So yeah, I'm gonna do that next. And I see I missed one over there. Let's just do this one that I missed. Okay, and did I miss any others? Sometimes you can only see if you've missed any. There are these. I missed these as well. Once you've zoomed out, I'm on camera, yes. And you've seen what the picture looks like from afar. Did I miss any others? Oh, I missed this one. And this one, and this one. They're tiny, these seaweeds. Okay, hold on. I'm just checking to make sure I haven't missed any more. Yeah, they're so tiny. It doesn't really matter what color combination you put. Anywhere else? I think, hold on. There's this one. This one looks a little lonely. Oh, let's put the darker cobalt turquoise. Okay, anywhere else? Did I miss? Yeah, I don't think so. So now we're going to go in with the cobalt turquoise, and I'm just going to shade these bits, deepen up shadows. So let me just rest my hand. So I'm going in with the cobalt turquoise just in between here to deepen up the shadows here in between these seaweeds. Seaweeds, is this plural for seaweeds? Seaweeds? No, I think it's seaweed. Seaweed is a non-count noun. Okay, and now the dark indigo, just to deepen up these shadows that I've put in. Yeah, so I love that feed on threads, the puppies. What else do I? So I'm really trying to curate my algorithm so that it gives me what I want. And so I have been liking and following threads that are dedicated to true crime and to mysterious events and to historical facts and interesting facts. I love these kinds of things. I love playing Trivial Pursuit with all of the little tidbits and pieces of trivia. So I've started following one that's called Weird Facts, which is really interesting. Interesting little tidbits about things that happen. Not only like recent, like also historical things. I'm thinking this needs also to be deepened up. We will do the background another time. Okay, I think I have deepened up the shadows that I wanted to deepen up, and we are going to. How long have we been at this? We've been at this about 40 minutes. Okay, we can do something else. Let's do one other thing. What do I want to do? Maybe let's do these two. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one are all the same. So let's do those. But for that, we're going to use a different color combination. So I will be back. Right, so I've looked at my color palettes and I've decided that I am going to make these urchins, I think that's what they're called, urchins, different combinations of these purple colors. Okay, so this one, this one, this one, and that one will be different combinations. So we're going to start off. Let me just show you the pencils that I've got here in my in my collection of purples. So we've got mulberry, we've got black cherry, we've got lavender, gray lavender, black grape, lilac, white, and violet. And I'm also still going to be using the Polychromos dark indigo. Okay, so let's put those on the side. We're going to start off with this one. Let me zoom in. Okay, so we are starting over here with the one on the far left. Okay, and we are going to put, this is lavender. Okay, we're just going to put a light layer of this, and I'm leaving a highlight. Oh, I missed that little seaweed there. We'll come back to it. Okay, so I'm just doing this. Okay, and because we have put the layer of Neocolor 2 down, everything's going to have this blue tone to it because it's underwater. Let me just get, I want to finish that little seaweed. We missed him. One second, I'm just getting my pencils that I used previously. Okay. Next, we're going to take the mulberry. Okay, I need to give it a sharpen. 1 second. All right, and we are going to put this on either side of this line. And a little bit more in the shadows. yeah, so those are the threads that I am following so that I can curate my feed. All right, now we've got black grape. Just deepening up this line here a little bit. Yeah, so I follow weird facts. I follow photograph history. Photograph history is a good one. It is a feed of photographs of historical events that have not really been seen before, which I think is really cool. Okay, back in with the lavender just to blend. So interesting photos like of Amelia Earhart before her flights, pictures from World War II, from World War I. Really interesting. Okay, we're also going to put, now here I want it to look like it's indented, okay? So I'm just going to put this here and leave a highlight at the top. Okay. And we're also going to fill in this line. And we're also going to put in some blue. Yeah, so that's a nice thread. And another one that I was following, I can't remember what it was called. It might have been the Weird Facts one, but they had a post about interesting mysteries. So, for example, let's go in with the white. Okay, now I'm just putting in my highlight here at the top, and here, here. Okay. And with our indigo, just going to do this. Okay, I'm also going to come in and put some dots with acrylic markers. We'll do that later. Okay, because I think we need to finish up today's session. We've done a lot. Yeah, so there's threads. It's all about historical mysteries, mass disappearances, like the disappearance of the Roanoke colony, the disappearance of the people on the Marie Celeste was a ship where people just vanished. They found the boat floating and all the people. It looked as if they had left in a hurry. Also Roanoke. Really interesting. The 9th Legion, an entire Roman legion disappeared in the wilds of Scotland, never to be seen again. Okay. Right, so there we have it. Let's zoom out again. Okay, so this is what our page is looking like right now. We've done all of the seaweed here on the bottom. We did this sea urchin. Next time we'll continue doing more sea urchins and some of the other wildlife that we have here on this page. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining me for today's Saturday Snippets. I hope that you enjoyed all of my meanderings and the coloring, and I hope to see you again next week for another installment of this feature. Bye for now.